Frank Underwood knows his politics, so let's step our game up. This is Decoding the Deck, a House of Cards inspection. Instead of doing full episode recaps, let's use this series to discuss some of the key political and historical jargon that flies by in the show. We'll keep these videos brief, so if you have any additional House of Cards related comments, please post them in the section down below. Let's start with two fascinating points from Season 2, Episode 1. This first episode back, Frank Underwood strengthens some allies, disposes of one, and scares an enemy off, all while on his road to the vice presidency. One of our first major political references of the season comes when Frank Underwood confronts Congresswoman Jackie Sharp and asks her to consider running for his House Majority Leader seat that he's about to vacate. Jackie is currently looking at a picture that has President Lyndon Johnson and Senator Richard Russell in it when this conversation begins. Jackie asks, "Richard Russell?" And Frank replies, "Civil Rights Act, 1963. Jackie, not everyone can be on the right side of history. Frank, not even Lyndon for a time, but he would never have become majority leader without him." Here's a little background on this historic relationship. Senator Richard Russell from Georgia supported Lyndon Johnson during his first term as senator. Now, this helped Johnson go on to become the Senate Majority Leader and eventually the President of the United States of America. The relationship between Russell and Johnson was all good for a solid 20 years. Now, about the Civil Rights Act of 1963-64. President John F. Kennedy introduced the bill in June of 1963 that would hopefully grant all Americans, among other rights, the right to be served in public facilities. Following President Kennedy's assassination about 5 months later, then Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson became president and carried the torch for the act. And in July of 1964, President Johnson was able to sign the new bill into law, which is why Jackie hints that Senator Russell was on the wrong side of history. Later in the episode, Frank sets the stage for Jackie to get that majority whip seat. While meeting with the president and the Democratic House leadership, Frank proposes that instead of them trying to steer the caucus, the Democratic body in the House, to vote for any one candidate in particular, they should just let the caucus decide all on its own without any tampering. Frank questions, what if we let the caucus pick? Let it be a wide open race. Both men are qualified. And then Birch responds, the leadership should be united in this. We don't want to be backing different candidates. Frank replies, we stay out of it, and neither of us backs anyone. Then Womack tosses in his support. I like it. The caucus will respect someone who does it the old-fashioned way. But what does he mean by the old-fashioned way? Since the Democrats control both the House and the Senate in House of Cards, the Democratic House leadership would naturally want to find a whip who's totally in line with its strategies in order to help power its bills. In this case, withdrawing all endorsements and leaving this pivotal decision up to a relatively unbiased caucus could be seen as a surprising move, which is why the room reacted that way. Let us know if you dug this brief political review and if it sparked any other House of Cards related comments or questions. Also, be the first to know when we cover episode 2 of season 2 by subscribing right here, and follow us on Twitter for all other entertainment updates coming to you exclusively from Talk of Fame.